So, although this story has nothing to do with Texas, it has a lot to do with the stories that we would like to share on this channel, which are paranormal and spooky stories that we've lived through ourselves. And you can take that as first-hand evidence, you can take it as whatever you want, but it's just stories that we would like to share because it's things that we find interesting. So, while we were living in upstate New York, we would often go to a horror attraction in the fall called Headless Horseman. Now, this is a nationally renowned horror attraction in Ulster Park, New York. You can look it up. Again, it's Headless Horseman. It's like Hollywood quality. But anyway, one October night, we were on our way back from that attraction.
We had been driving on the back roads for quite some time, as this was a couple of hours from our house. The area was dark, and it was a chilly autumn night. We had turned onto another road, and again, this road had no street lights of any sort, and there was nothing around us but cornfield.
There were no immediate houses or businesses, something we were used to. We lived in a very, very rural area. But as we drove on, passing more and more corn, we saw a stop sign in front of us. It was off to the left. The maps told us to take that left, so out of our trust of the GPS, we did.
As we took the turn, out of the corner of my eye on the right-hand side, we see a woman standing at the edge of the cornfield. She was in a white dress and had what seemed like dark black hair and just stood there hidden ever so slightly behind the cattails in the marsh.
This whole interaction was maybe 5-10 seconds. We passed, and I hit the brakes and paused. And then I said, "Did you just effing see that?"
And I said, "The woman in white," saying it with disbelief. We had heard of the exact same woman described in many tales in the middle of nowhere from many other stories, and this night we saw her. We turned the car around and drove back, but she was nowhere in sight.
Even after we had gotten out and looked, there were no indentations in the ground or the mud. The cattails weren't moved around, and there was nothing in the area that showed that somebody had made tracks through there. So where she came from, we didn't even understand. There were no cars driving by, no houses for her to have run to. We listened, and there was nothing. And that night, we drove home with a very great sense of unease.